Hey everybody, I am back with another video. So I am coming to you guys with my 1 month lock update. This went by pretty fast. I did want to do a follow-up, and I think I am going to do monthly updates for you guys, but also, I mean, just for myself. Like, I want to be able to see how this set of locks transforms, and I want to be able to look back. I wanted to follow up in something I talked about in one of my previous videos about how, like, the starter technique that I used of having a braid at the root, 2-strand twisting the length, and then braiding the ends, that held up as a good starter lock method as far as preventing my locks from unraveling at the ends. I really didn't have to go back in and like twist anything back up. I think I had like out of over 700 locks, I think I had like 1, maybe 2 that unraveled, and I needed to go back, but the braids at the end really did hold the starter locks together. I did think that braiding the roots was essentially going to prevent me from having any slippage. That ended up not being the case. It wasn't that I had like crazy slippage all across my head, but once I just finished my first retightening, and as I was going through and doing the retightening, there were maybe like 50 out of 700 locks that had slipped. And I, instead of like braiding those or twisting them, I just went ahead and I interlocked them. So on some of my locks, the whole starter lock is just an interlock. And then the majority of them are still the combination of the braids and the twists. I have just completed my first retightening. I did go ahead and do that much sooner than I normally would have. In my mind, ideally, I'd like to retighten my roots in between every 8 to 10 weeks. I did this one 4 weeks out because I just wanted to see, I wanted a chance to see how my roots were doing and see how my starter locks were doing, because I had washed them several times. I'm washing my hair maybe every 7 to 10 days. So that's quite a bit of washing on starter locks. So I was like, let me just go ahead and do it. It did take me a total of 8 days. I didn't obviously do it for 8 full days, but just like do an hour here, an hour there, and so I completed it in 8 days. Ideally, I'd like to see that speed up. I've seen some other people who have way more locks than me. There's especially one girl, I think her name is Imani Goodrich. If you guys don't follow her, check out her channel. She does her own retightenings, and she like will finish it in like 2 or 3 days, and I'm like, how? I don't get it. And then there was someone else that I was checking out on their, like, I was watching one of Ty Cara's videos, and someone commented on her video like, oh, I have over 800 locks and I can knock it out in 3 days. And I'm like, how? I don't get it. Because it's taking me 7 to 8 days, but we'll see. I will say that my locks don't look too much different. Starter locks don't look too much different from when I established them, but they do feel different, and that became really apparent when I was doing my retightening. They are much more solid. Obviously, they are not locked in any way, but I can feel that the shed hairs are definitely accumulating inside of the starter locks and making them a bit more firm. So the process has already started, which I think is amazing, because I feel like this month just came and went very quickly, and I'm already seeing changes, so that's really cool. I did feel like it was cool, like after I did my first wash, my 2-strand twists actually took on the shape of my curl pattern, which I thought was cool. With my interlocks the first time around, when I did the whole starter lock as an interlock, it made my hair kind of straight like cylinders. But with the 2-strand twist, my natural hair was able to keep its curl pattern in the 2-strand twist, which I thought was kind of cool. It was a cool aesthetic aspect that I wanted to document for you guys. My parts have stayed in very nicely. I didn't really have much marrying at all, which was a really nice surprise for me. I remember with my first set of locks, granted, I didn't know that I needed to be braiding my hair during washes, but I would wash my hair and I would have severe marrying afterwards, and I didn't even know that the marrying was occurring until I went to do my first retightening, and then I realized like, oh my gosh, all of my locks are joined, and I was having to really like use quite a bit of force to pull them apart, and in some cases actually just cut them apart. Interestingly, with this set of locks, with all of the washing that I've been doing, and I've been using really clarifying shampoos, really just one. It's a really clarifying shampoo, and even still my locks are not marrying together, so that is a nice surprise. Again, maybe out of 700 locks, I had maybe 4 or 6 that were kind of like not all together, not 6 together, but across my head I maybe had like a couple pairs of locks that kind of joined together, but that was nothing. At night, I am still doing what I was doing before I had starter locks. With my relaxed hair, I always maintained my hair at night in 2 large Dutch braids, and I still do that now with my starter locks. And most days, actually all days, I'm wearing a braid out the next day, and it's been working out really well. I haven't had any issues so far. I am still really excited to see how this set of locks progresses. I'm really excited. I don't know, like I had someone point out in a old video, or one of my recent videos, saying like, wow, the parting, it's really meticulous. It looks like these are much smaller than even Sisterlocks. And that was kind of a moment where I was like, yeah, they really are smaller than Sisterlocks. And I remember what made me want to get locks were Sisterlocks. And I realized the set that I have now is even much smaller than what kind of like pushed me to even be interested in locks. And yet I'm really still excited. Like, it kind of feels like uncharted territory in a way. I'm definitely not the only person that has 700 locks. There's people who have more than me. But it just feels like I'm not even in the Sisterlock group, because obviously they're not Sisterlocks, but I mean, even just the sheer number that I have is a lot more than the average person with Sisterlocks. So this is going to be kind of an interesting thing, and I'm interested in seeing how the end result looks, how my locks compare, I guess, to Sisterlocks. Like, do I like it more? Do I like it less? I'm interested in seeing. I also will be, I think the very next video that I will be releasing will be a video showing you guys how I did my self retightening. I really wasn't sure how I was going to be able to see the back of my head well enough to not accidentally marry my locks together and not just completely botch up the job that I had done in establishing them. But I did find something that worked perfectly well. I had no married locks that I married. Like, I didn't accidentally interlock any of them together. And I absolutely think it's because of the way that I kind of set up myself to be able to see what I was doing. And I am going to make a video dedicated solely and fully to just how to self retighten, especially if you have as many locks as I do. I think it'll be really helpful for you guys. But at any rate, thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you next time.